As Secretary General of the EPP, together with President Martens, we have been working throughout these 2 years together with the Prime Ministers and the Ministers of Finance and also Labour Ministers that we have in the employment ministers that we have in the European Union. We are working hard in order to obtain solutions. In some countries this came between brackets easily because some work had been done before, like the case of very good example of Sweden, where our good friend Reinfeldt had previewed and had made the reforms before in order to tackle the crisis, and others did not so. Unfortunately, most of them not belonging to the EPP family, but who will soon change, like is the case of Spain, Greece, or Portugal, which will be facing elections soon. In my capacity as member of the European Parliament, representing in this case Spain, and as member of the National Executive of my party, and yes, after the winning of this victory on Sunday, still after the campaign I have some, and the campaign gives you, as if you love politics, gives you, John, it gives us the opportunity to go to the ground and to feel what's going on with the necessities of the population. And I can tell you, Spain has gone through a terrible moment. From 6 million employments that were created by the government of Aznar from 1996 to 2004, we have gone to an employment of 5 million, 20% rate. And what is more important, 43% of young unemployment, which is the future, by the way. And this data says everything. There's no campaign, there's nothing that can tell you the sufferance of the people, the indignity of not being employed, and what are the measures that we have to take to face this reality. There has been a strange reaction with these anti-system people. In Spain, you quoted. Also, there have been manifestations in many other European countries, also here in Great Britain, I recall, because of the reforms. And I believe, as Aznar did in '96, that only transparency and explaining to the people exactly what kind of reforms you want to make and how you want to tackle this, people will understand and will follow you in order to proceed with these reforms. Of course, not the trade unions, which they have in many of our countries a different agenda. Trade unions in Spain remain silent during 2 years, and suddenly it is, of course, we know it's going to happen the moment Partido Popular arrives to government and implements the reforms that everybody wants to do in Spain, which is a basic country for the euro. Of course, the trade unions will react with fire in the street. We already know that. In the case of Spain and these people that were united in this Puerta del Sol demonstration, I do believe that a lot of youngsters there, including my brother, who, by the way, passed one day in this square, these people that they were good-hearted, they wanted to demonstrate that they are going through a very bad moment. But of course, in Spain, in our politics, we don't believe any longer in casualties. 1 week before the elections that Partido Popular is going to win, we don't believe that really this was organized from a spontaneous movement. This does not represent the whole youth generation. 800,000 new young voters have been going to the elections in the latest 2 elections in Spain. And they went to vote on Sunday, putting an end to this claim against the system. It's not the system that is not working, it's the bad government. It's a bad government that denied the reality of the crisis in 2008. While good governments like Angela Merkel in Germany or Reinfeldt in Sweden and others were preparing their population for the future crisis, in countries like Spain, Greece or Portugal, the socialist government were denying this. Especially in our case that we were in elections in 2008. There was a very famous debate about economics between the Ministry of Economy of Zapatero, Solves, who was already Minister of Finance of González in '96, of whom we inherited also a terrible crisis. I was going out of university at that moment. If I wanted to do any stage in any law firm in Madrid, I had to pay in order to have an opportunity to do a stage. You can imagine. But we are used, the center-right is used to inherit these kind of situations, and that we are the ones to clean the house and to tackle the reforms that maybe people will not like at the beginning, but if rightly stated, if rightly explained, people at the end will understand there is a good continuity to all this and that the sacrifice is good. But we have to face who is that not only certain areas of the population are suffering also the reforms, that this also has a distribution, that not only certain levels of the population, certain social straits have to bear the whole strength of these reforms. This has to be done in a very social, also, with a social comprehension. For the young, that is my worry now. I don't want them to pass what I had to go past when I left my law studies in Spain, and now I see a lot of people of 28 years old that are going through the same moment now. I want, and Partido Popular in Spain, they want nothing different from what the rest of the center-right parties are saying in the different countries. We want to encourage entrepreneurship. The small-size and medium-sized enterprises for us are vital. In the Spanish case, more than the big enterprises, what, by the way, have crossed this crisis. They have good connections with Latin America. Our big banks, also Santander, Bilbao Vizcaya, well known by a lot of people, they have maintained themselves. But the little and medium-sized enterprises, I'm talking about the little cafeteria, I'm talking about whatever, they have lost 1 or 2 posts, and you add an ad, and then we have 5 million unemployment created. We have to encourage young entrepreneurs. That's fundamental, to have new ideas also. And also to cut taxes, to also not to create people that are depending on the subsidies of unemployment. It is our duty to bring up these solutions and to bring the dignity of the work to those who want to work. It's also a very important thing to clarify, no? In Spain, for example, also we have to bet. We had a housing bubble problem that now I have to admit it was run by all the governments, different socialist or center-right, and we have now to change our aim. We have to go into services, we have to go into tourism, so I invite everybody to come this summer to Spain, and to go into the new technologies, also like some examples in Ireland. We have a very good one who made a bet in the past. We have to find these new spaces. So thank you, Roland, and thank you, Thes, for the opportunity I wanted to share, and with these experts in also to bring ideas to the future of Spain and of Europe.